Spoiler Sleepover is sponsored by Gore Clown Shop.
Do you love all things horror? Books? Movies? Podcasts? Of course you do. Well, come on down to goreclown.com.
Original artwork by an indie horror fan for indie horror fans.
Use code SLEEPOVER at checkout to save 15% on your whole purchase.
Oh, and did we mention? Gore Clown is the only place to get official Spoiler Sleepover merch.
So don't forget to use Sleepover to save 15%.
Stay indie, suckers!
I wish to create a perfect human being, selecting the best organs from different scorpions.
Didn't touch anything.
Oh, okay.
My laptop's a piece of shit.
That's the opener right there.
Welcome back, ladies, gents, and our non-binary friends to Spoiler Sleepover. I hope you liked our... I hope you like our spooky opening. Hi, Jason Michael.
Oh, man. Hi, Rob.
I've missed you.
That felt backwards. We did our introductions vicariously through each other.
So we're back. We're back for spooky season with a brand new opening song for spooky season.
Times.
Jason Michael had the beautiful idea that we needed something different for our comeback. Looks like this is how it's going to roll from this point forward. We're going to take our season break so Jason Michael could go do camp things, and then we'll be back in October to end off each season, which is great. And now you got your own little fucking theme for October, which is even better.
Look at you being so special and such.
Yeah, you guys, we spoil you. Don't say we never gave you anything. And our opening theme, I made two. So in case I haven't mentioned it, but I feel like I have, I made our theme song for that we currently have. Any of the music I generally do. Jason Michael does the voices and sound effects and all of that stuff in his beautiful editing.
Yeah, I do.
But I made
screeching at myself.
So now that we're back, let's also get back into a little what's been keeping us up at night. Let's see here. Look, we've got something to talk about. Hear ye. Wrong era. Yeah.
Welcome to the time traveling segment of the podcast.
All right. So, Jason Michael, what's been keeping you up at night?
A little bit of trips down nostalgia lane, if you will. Watching some old shows. I say old, from early 2000s. I took a trip onto Prime and watched Psych, that old gem of a season series. Still in the process of watching through it, but I can breeze through a season in like 3 days. Yeah, I definitely enjoyed going back and rewatching it because a lot of the stuff we used to watch around the TV as a family, and then I'm watching these episodes going, oh shit, I know exactly what's going to happen. And just, this is my only other watch through. So unlocking those memories of first time watch throughs 15, almost 20 years ago is insane for me. But that's what's been keeping me up at night, just memories.
That's cool. Memories are fun. I do that from time to time too. It's like my mom and I used to watch that 70s show together. And back in the day, it was that 70s show would come on, and then right after was 24. And so we used to watch 24. Yeah. So, I mean, I rewatched that 70s show and How I Met Your Mother kind of often, actually. They're like some of my favorites. And Roseanne. I fucking love Such a good show.
I mean, it also did help because we were watching Monk right before it. So Monk was at 9:00 and Psych was at 10. So it's like, cool, just run straight into it and we all gather around and watch that.
Yeah, I never watched that show either.
The captain in that is Buffalo Bill.
Yeah, I did know that. I mean, I know, surprisingly, I know a lot about both of the shows, but never watched them. Just they weren't really my speed of show back in the day. I mean, like I was watching 24 and The Shield and Nip Tuck.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Two of the Fantastic Four right there.
Yeah. Yep. Oh, that's weird.
My dad used to, every time Captain Stottlemyre from Monk would come on the screen, he would just go, "Oh, wait." Just put on the Buffalo Bill voice. And my mom from the other couch is like, "Fucking stop." She hates that voice, and he still uses it to this day.
Was she a great big fat lady?
Yeah, wasn't she supposed to be the fat one? Hey, Monk. Oh my God, it's still one of the funniest things to do.
Oh man, I love it. So I got some newer stuff, all three actually. As of the release of this recording, the third episode of Penguin should be out.
Penguins.
So, yeah, I watched the first episode so far. It's good. I was not sure what to expect for a spin-off of a Batman movie. It's also kind of shocking and surprising to see Colin Farrell just wearing all of that prosthetic.
I forgot he was the Penguin in that movie, and then when I saw it, I was like, "Oh fuck, that's right."
Yeah, well,
because you don't recognize him.
Exactly. I mean, shooting for a movie is one thing, but for a series and all of that is insane. It's an R-rated show. It's exactly what we were really wanting from the Batman as a TV show without Batman in it, or at least so far, there's no Batman in it. But it's a gangster show. It's the best thing I could say was comparing it to The Long Halloween. If you've never read The Long Halloween, you absolutely should, because it's a crime mob drama comic book. It's literally
the mob. See,
yeah, it's the best. It's the best Batman comic book that's ever been written. That and Batman Secrets, but I won't get into that. But that's just because Sam Keith is the shit. But Tim Sale and Jeff Loeb did The Long Halloween, and was kind of at least style-wise, the Batman is kind of more based off of that. And this is really digging into the lore more of the mob bosses and the hierarchy in Gotham. It's good. It's really good. Highly, highly recommend. I won't get too much into it, but it's dope. But yeah, cool. So Penguin, I watched Agatha All Along, the new Marvel. Apparently it's a spinoff of WandaVision, which I never watched, so I'm kind of in the dark, but it's witches. So I love me some witches.
Witch please.
Yeah. And then finally, Frasier is back for a second season of the new series, and I've been watching that. I love Frasier. I grew up watching Frasier. It's great. Yeah. He's left Seattle and he's living in Boston now with his son. So that's basically the premise of the show. It's fucking great. It's still Frasier. That's the best part. They haven't really changed much, just location and characters. And yeah, I've really been enjoying it. So that's what's been keeping us up at night. Hit us up on Instagram or Facebook and let us know what's been keeping you up at night. We're actually interested. You see me drop the little "what are you watching" on our stories on Instagram. I genuinely am actually curious, and I get excited to see what people are watching. So interact with us, folks. We want to know what you're up to. Well, that's what's been keeping us up at night. Jason, Michael.
Yeah.
I have a little something I want to share with you. So I have a Creeping It Real for you.
You were jumping out of order. I thought it was something else.
Oh no!
I was gonna make you stop putting worms in my ears joke, but now
no, we're gonna do the earworm last this time. I think we're just gonna jumble it up from time to time and keep it lively. But
a little what's been creeping it real? Fuck!
Son of a bitch! Creeping It Real worms, people.
Why was it easier to come up with that than the other day when we were fucking recording? It was like, what's been creeping it? Earworm?
We were both exhausted. I was running.
Oh, yeah.
3 hours of sleep. So yeah, Creeping It Real. So we are all aware of what they are calling the Pooniverse, with Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey 2,
Electric Poonloo.
Bambi Reckoning coming out.
Oh, God.
There's I forget what it's called, but it's the Pinocchio one that's coming out.
Unstrung.
Yeah, thank you. So they have just now announced the new one that they are adding to this, the Pooniverse, and Piglet is getting his own spin-off horror movie. And yes, it is the same exact Piglet from Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. We are going to get a solo Piglet horror film.
Is it Piglet, Blood and Bothers? What the hell?
Oh bother. It'd be Piglet, Bothered, and Deer. Oh, deer.
Oh, somehow connects to Bambi.
Oh, Dearly Departed, but it's a bunch of these dearly
dearly. Yo, Pooniverse, take us on as a writing team.
Yeah, seriously.
We got bangers for you right here.
So yeah, that is it's a short and sweet one for Creeping It Real, but it doesn't seem like there's any end in sight to them just shitting down Disney's throat to make some of the worst ideas. I say worst. I still have not seen Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey 2. I love the first one. So much so that I went out and bought the special edition Steelbook collectors on DVD and Blu-ray. Like, I fucking love the first movie. It is so good. I am very excited to see the second one. I'm more excited to see Bambi Reckoning, because that looks unhinged.
Didn't they also come out with a trailer for Screamboat?
Thank you. Yes, that was the other thing, which I sent to you, which is the Steamboat Willie horror movie. No, you do not see the killer, or we'll just say it. You don't see the mouse.
You don't see David Howard Thornton, baby.
Yep. But you do see a shadow of ears wearing a sailor hat at the end of the trailer. So yeah, that's what's Creeping It Real. That's the Creeping It Real.
I have a better feel-good one if you would like.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Or a more feel-good one.
Let's double down, baby.
This is actually Creeping It Real because, as we well know, it is the beginning of the best month of all time.
Yeah!
It's October, so it's getting lots of spooky outside. I'm seeing the leaves change color. There's a tree in my neighborhood that is practically bare at this point, which is quite impressive. But seeing the massive amount of decorations all around the neighborhood.
Yeah.
And just seeing my neighbor actually just put up, at the time of this recording, I saw it this morning going out to get some Aroma Joes. It's a clown that kind of looks like a mixture of Art the Clown, the big fat slobby one from, I think it's American Horror Story, and then it kind of looks like Puddle's Pity Party.
Interesting.
But it's I'll take a picture of it.
Yeah.
But it's a demonic looking clown, and he's holding up two kids by the ankles.
Oh yeah.
And just moving around going, rah, 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 rah. I drove back and I was like, holy shit, it's talking.
I've seen that one. That was Spirit Halloween decoration from last year. And I thought it was pretty cool. It's so Spirit has like a handful of designers, like creators that make their animatronics every year.
Yeah.
They've had a few of those guys have been with the company for a long time doing this. And the guy who did that one, I don't know if you remember I don't know what to call it. It was a demon that had a child in its hand and would lift it up, and then it had a fog machine in the child's mouth and then like a vacuum in the demon's mouth, and there's a light in it. So it looks like it's sucking its soul out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the same designer who did that one. So yeah,
Ooh.
That's awesome. If you haven't seen it, we'll post a picture. You'll see a picture on our Instagram. I will find it and I will post it, and I'll tag Spirit and hopefully sponsorship. Come on, Spirit, sponsor us.
That'd be cool.
Give us money.
Money in costumes. But
we'll close out our little intro here with that thing that's hanging out of your ear.
God damn it.
What
I
is
told
it?
you no.
It's not that. Not this time.
Oh,
look at that. It's an earworm.
Oh.
What has your
Brain
earworm
shit.
been recently?
Recently, besides, I'm still listening to a bunch of Childish Gambino, just pretty much on replay. But more recently, I believe earlier this week, if not Friday of last week, I think, Vended, the band with Corey Taylor's son and Clown's son from Slipknot, they released their first full album.
Oh,
so
shit.
no more singles. They dropped a full album. And if you ever had any doubt, I don't know why, that Griffin is Corey's son, just listen to the vocals on this album. It is like Corey Taylor young again, but like doing it healthily. Because I'm pretty sure on Slipknot, he was just screaming, not like in any practical way. He was just screaming his vocal cords out every single night. So Vended, the album, Vended, really good.
All right. I didn't even realize that was out yet. I'll have to give it a listen. Yeah, that's my brother calls Vended Slipknot 2.0.
I mean, it's pretty damn close. I know they're trying to do their own thing and not be associated with their father's band and like, be a second Slipknot, but it's pretty damn close.
Yeah. I mean, so far with all the singles and stuff, it just sounds like Slipknot.
Yeah. It's also the fact of they even do sounds like if Craig was still doing samples or whoever the new guy is.
Yeah.
But like, I haven't heard Wiki Wiki Woos
Yet.
from like a Sid side of things. Yeah, yet. Or a keg, now that I think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. There is some bass though.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll have to give that a listen. My earworm's a bit different. I kind of fell behind on a podcast and finally caught up. I've been catching up with Dark Down East. I know I've brought it up on here before, most likely even as an earworm. But if you haven't heard me suggest it before, I will suggest it again. Dark Down East is a true crime podcast hosted by Kylie Lowe. It is awesome. Every single episode is a true crime story that takes place in New England. So New York, Connecticut, Maine, New Hampshire, Massachusetts, Vermont.
Is New York New England?
Part of it. I mean, it's arguable. Some people say yes, some people say no. But yeah, so it is it's great. The reason I really enjoy Dark Down East, aside from the fact that we are from New England and it's crazy to hear the crazy shit that happens or has happened here in the past.
Witches.
Kylie takes care of each case that she talks about, avoiding details in the sense of, I would say at this point, 90% of the true crime podcasts go too deep into the details of what happened, describing the aftermath, exactly what happened to the victim or victims in gruesome detail. It's weird. I can watch a horror movie all day, any day, but I've noticed with certain true crime podcasts, I've noped out of them just because I don't really want all the details, and out of respect for the victim's family and friends, Kylie doesn't give those details, which I think is just really awesome, extremely respectful. And she starts and ends every episode with explaining that the only purpose that the podcast exists is to bring light to these cases, because a lot of them are like not well known. A majority of them are unsolved that she talks about. So it's to like try and bring it back into the light so that potentially these can get solved. So yeah, go listen to Dark Down East. The episodes are bite size. She has a few episodes that are two-parters, but even the two-parters are like 40 minutes per episode. Like, she doesn't overdo it like we do. So
I don't know what you're talking about.
I mean, personally, I like it in the true crime aspect of it, but when it comes down to like this style of podcast,
Breaking down an entire movie.
Yeah, well, people having a conversation. I like the long form. It's nicer. It's nice to pace it the way I want to pace it too. So my rides to and from work, I can generally listen to an episode like this in, a day, which is nice. So, but yeah, those are our earworms. Let us know. What have you been listening to recently? We would love to know. Try and throw some bands at me. See if there's something I haven't heard of before. Jason Michael might be new to him.
There's going to be a lot of stuff that's new to me.
Yeah. So let us know what you're listening to. We're curious. Follow on Chachi's footsteps. He sends us his new record collection stuff all the time and what he's listening to. And don't forget to jump on over to Gore Clown. Our merch is up there right now.
Woo!
Yeah. You heard our beautiful ad at the beginning of this episode.
It's true. Use
code SLEEPOVER to save 15%. And now that that's over with, let's jump on into this spoiler.
That's not the sound effect.
Nope. Well, it's been a long time, so there's definitely a lot that we had to talk about. Things we've seen, watched, played, all of that jazz. Things that are coming out. But anyways, let's jump into this. So, last time we left you off with a bride, and now we're back again.
Last time on Spoiler Sleepover.
See?
There you go.
Told you. Jason Michael literally is the Crypt Sleeper. Is that what we decided his name was? I don't even remember.
I think it was the Crypt Sleeper versus the Spoiler Keeper. I think it was the Crypt Sleeper.
Yeah, the Crypt Sleeper. But now you got to hear it live. That's crazy. Actually, the funniest part is that's the first time I've heard it live. He's never done the voice in front of me before. So, anyways, we left you with a bride.
Don't look at me while I do it.
And we're bringing you back with a bride. And to be more specific, the Bride of Chucky.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yes. The Bride of Chucky from 1998. This beautiful movie opens with the most beautiful and most heavy-handed hat tips to horror of the past. Here's the funny thing, there are more references. There's actually a deleted scene. But even before I get into it, there's an entire few deleted scenes for licensing issues that they could not put into the movie. Now, if you have a specific version of this movie, luckily enough, Jason and Michael and I both have this version. If you go to the special features, it's actually in there. Yep, you can see the stuff that was cut due to licensing. But what we do get to see in the theatrical release is bags of blood referencing Dracula. Not that heavy-handed, just kind of like bloodsuckers exist. That's great. We also get the amazing knockoff Jason mask. It's just a plastic fucking Halloween mask. It's not that great.
We've all had this mask. We've all had this mask.
I have one.
We have Jason at home. Oh,
yeah, literally. But next to it is a yellow chainsaw. Now, when we see the blade, all we see is the blade. They had to edit it, but they didn't edit it well because we get another glimpse of it and we get to see its yellowness in passing just the next scene. Again, it was a licensing issue, but they worked their way around it. But that is the chainsaw. How the fuck
do you own a yellow chainsaw? How do you own the rights to that? It's a goddamn chainsaw. It's a hardware tool.
But we get to see Leatherface's chainsaw, which is fantastic. And then we get to see, because they're in the same studio, Michael Myers' mask and Freddy Krueger's glove. Now, there are a few other things that are in there. I won't mention them, but go out, get Bride of Chucky. If you have it, don't get the cheap one. Get the box set. It's in the box set special features. So if you buy the box set, that's the best way to go about it. It's got all the movies.
I think at Walmart. That's what I did.
Yeah. And the most recent box set is, I believe, has Curse and Cult in it, correct?
It does.
Okay.
So Seed, Curse, and Cult.
Great. Yeah, that's the good one. So yeah, go out and get it. All the special features, totally fucking worth it. Because they're loaded.
All 7 Chucky movies.
This is when Don Mancini was writing the script for this one. He said, I want to build a universe without building a universe. So what he did was this. He just was like, look, this is all real. Like, these all exist within the same realm. Also makes it a little strange to a point, because where we're located, we're now supposed to assume that everything exists within the same territory. Yes, we're going to New Jersey in this movie to go find the corpse Yes, I'm jumping to the end of the movie. We're driving to New Jersey in this movie to go find the corpse of Charles Lee Ray, which in New Jersey, who else exists in New Jersey? Jason Voorhees. But we don't start in Jersey. And so we're led to believe that Freddy and Jason and Leatherface, who lives in fucking Texas, and vampires all exist. And Michael all exist in this one small area that the police were able to apprehend every single one of them? No, I do not think so. Now, if this was an FBI headquarters, maybe a different story, but it's not. It's a fucking police department. That's besides the point. It's a really dope opening. It's a cool little hat tip.
It's very 1998 in camera angles and filming and everything.
Yep.
Also, in a few moments, I completely forgot about it, but Ronnie Yu is the director of this movie. And there's a certain angle when the cop goes through and he finds a bag. We know it's in the bag. He's sitting in the car, and the camera angle looks like it's from Freddy vs. Jason, another Ronnie Yu movie. And it's just, he's got a very specific thing of camera angles. I don't know. It was like, I looked at it and I went, that looks like Freddy vs. Jason right there.
Yeah, I mean, that, every director has their signature things that they do. I mean, the best example of, directors having their signature style is Wes Anderson. I mean, that dude loves...
Oh, I thought you were going to say Michael Bay's explosions.
I mean,
or Zack Snyder's slow-mo.
Zack Snyder's slow-mo is a good choice. But I mean, like, Wes Anderson uses tracking in all of his fucking movies. He loves a track. He loves a good crane shot of, a building or a ship that doesn't have the side attached to it, so you can see the inside of everything. But yeah, they all have their signature. I think he definitely has his horror signatures more than anything. The angles just to make things creepy. Mm. But yeah, so a police officer goes in, steals evidence, replaces it with evidence. Not an intentional hat tip to Indiana Jones, but definitely was not passed over by me.
No.
He grabs a bag, gets into a car on a rainy night. Another little hat tip to another Chucky movie, where there's a cop in a car with something that he doesn't think is real. Yeah, look at that. Ooh, connecting.
On a night just like tonight.
And he gets a phone call from a mysterious woman. We know who she is. But to meet her. So he gets, she also says on the phone, remember, curiosity killed the cat. Well, that cat sure got killed. He's waiting and decides to take a look-see and look in the bag to see what it is. And a blade pops out and slits his throat wide open. And we then are introduced to the wonderful Jennifer Tilly playing Tiffany. And I say it that way because wait until the next movie.
I haven't seen it, but I already know about it. And I just think it's chaos.
Oh my God. Seed of Chucky is the most unhinged, star-studded event movie ever. I absolutely adore it. So we get Tiffany killing the cop, grabbing the bag, pulling out Chucky's decimated head, and then Q, just in case you forgot what year this, it was 1998. Rob Zombie was the peak of music at that point, and so we get the intro with Living Dead Girl. The absolute fucking best. I just love the fact that Rob Zombie's music is in here a lot. So we then get introduced to our side characters, our B lead characters. First being introduced to the late, great, hilarious John Ritter. Playing, another little reference here, Chief Kincaid. In case there wasn't, the Freddy glove was not enough of a Freddy reference. We get another name from a Nightmare on Elm Street movie, which is awesome.
Yeah.
So we
Good
get
old
to meet.
Kincaid.
Yeah, he's the best. Too bad he died. Anyway, so yeah, we get
what?
Chief Warren Kincaid. I only just call him Chief Kincaid because I like to say Kincaid, and the more you say it, it's like saying cacao. If you know the reference, you know the reference. If you don't, it's not a this reference. Go watch Portlandia, people. That show's fucking hilarious. We meet David, who is clearly playing for the other team, and he's there to pick up Jade for prom. And Chief Kincaid is not falling for it. Yep. He's going to college. We find out David's going to college on a scholarship for theater, but he is going for a sports. Yeah. And he's like, "Oh, you play hockey, right?" And he's like, "No, figure skating." He's like, "Oh, okay." Well, it turns out it was all just a ploy to get her out of the house so she could meet her boyfriend Jesse. And her uncle's a little overbearing and doesn't like Jesse for some reason because, oh yeah, he's trailer trash. Not a good reason. Horrible reasoning to not like somebody. But
I just hate the sheriff, the uncle character. He's just insufferable from the get-go for me.
He's the chief of police.
I know that's
not a sheriff.
My apologies. Either way, motherfucker's gonna get it in a little bit, so it doesn't matter how you feel about him.
Yeah, and as they're leaving for prom, he calls a sheriff to go follow them. Yeah, there you go. There's a sheriff there. And they get pulled over. So they get pulled over and they are quote unquote caught and asked to get out of the car. We now get to go back and find out what Tiffany has decided to do with Chucky, which we get an amazing montage of her kind of just piecing back together Chucky the best she can. I think we're led to believe that she is using parts from different dolls due to the immense doll collection that she has in her trailer. Yeah.
Like, did she know that it was him beforehand? That he was a doll? Like,
yeah.
Was there some part of like story I missed where he reached out to her and went, "Hey, I'm a doll now. Send help"?
So, yes, okay. We don't really get all of that information until Seed of Chucky. I know that's weird.
Okay.
But it also is given to you in the opening credits. And we also get it during the next trailer scene shot. We get a close look around her trailer, seeing all of the things she's collected. The death of Charles Lee Ray. We get to see that the doll's been possessed. A boy claims that the doll did the killing, blah, 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 blah. So she's been following him for 10 years because it's been 10 years.
Got it.
And it's actually been 10 years since the last movie came out. So it's even better. But she's been following and keeping up with him on everything. So she sews Chucky back together, and then
it's my personal favorite Chucky look.
Yeah, no, it's freaking dope. I mean, it continues too. So you haven't gotten there yet. I don't want to spoil it. I know I'm not spoiling anything. Wait till you get to Curse of Chucky.
I know he gets like more fucked up. The only thing I know is in I think it's Cult of Chucky. There's a few different looks, and from what I've seen, they look like doofy Chucky to me.
Ooh, man, I can't wait for you to get to Curse and Cult. Honestly, I have convinced a few friends who have only ever seen one of the movies. Like, I've met people who have only seen Child's Play. I've met people who have only seen Seed and nothing else. I'm like, how the fuck do you watch that and enjoy it and not know shit about it, background wise? Mm-hmm. But I've convinced people to watch all of them and heard complaint. And then they've gotten to Curse and Cult and they're like, okay, I'm fucking hooked. And I don't know why, but it does it to some people because it really, it grounds certain things. I feel it's strange. Wait till you get to them. You're going to be like, oh fuck. And it also could be a make it or break it for you too. I've also met people who are like, I don't know what the fuck Don Mancini's doing anymore. I give up. But for me, Curse was like... I
mean, technically, I am one of those people that had only seen the first one, and you've made me watch the rest of the movies so far. So it could very well end up like that. Who knows?
I don't... Yeah. I mean, Curse for me was... I finished watching it and immediately was like, I have to fucking watch this again. Like, I love it. It's so good. But yeah, so Tiffany then starts doing the prayer to the great, wonderful, fantastic Dambula. She asks for the power, and nothing happens. She gets mad and smacks the doll, and nothing happens. Here's a little insider note. We get now introduced to a character, this extremely try-hard goth dude named Damien. Great name, by the way. Great name. Would love to have a son named Damien. Yes, it's true.
Damien.
So Here's the little insider thing. The actor we got, great. He does a great job being a fake goth. Somebody turned down the role.
Oh, really?
Yeah. That was supposed to be our wonderful Marilyn Manson. Yep.
Oh, I mean, I think, what was it? Alexis Arquette did a tremendous job of looking like Marilyn Manson. Also, it might just be because last name of Arquette. Does this have anything to do with David Arquette?
Yupper doodles.
Okay.
So
I'll let you continue your story before I interrupt more.
No. Totally fine. That's what we're here to do. Interrupt and have fun.
You're not wrong.
Yeah. But no, that was Manson. And he turned it down and then regretted it.
That's hilarious.
That's fine. It's great. So yeah, we get introduced to basically Tiffany's plaything. She's been single for 10 years. She's been just using this dude for God knows what and not giving him anything in return. Which we find out because he claims to be dark and whatnot and hands her a Polaroid claiming he killed somebody, but he just put a bunch of fake makeup on himself to make himself look like a beat corpse, which didn't work at all.
Well, like he spilled pasta sauce on his face.
Yeah. She turns around and then realizes Chucky's gone. He gone.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, it's great.
Salt pentagram.
And so she claims she dropped something and asks Damien to look under her, I'm going to call it a love seat. It looks like one of those things like an old Victorian woman would lay on.
Paint me like one of your French girls.
But paint me with blood, please, and thank you. So he gets down and looks and can't see anything until a giant tarantula falls on his face. And we get an even deeper glimpse into how much of a fraud Damien is when he's completely terrified. And turns out it's Tiffany's pet. Because of course it is. Why wouldn't it be? So Damien then tries to seduce Tiffany. Yeah. Doesn't work.
That's what you want to call it.
But yeah, so he tries to seduce her. As he's doing this, Tiffany is not interested whatsoever. No interest. And then all of a sudden, Chucky just appears next to her, sitting down. Then she says she wants to have a menage a trois and handcuffs his legs and feet to the bed and places Chucky on his stomach. It seems like it's a
pretty much.
And starts giving more or less Chucky a show. And she starts talking about, and this is our background story, that it's been 10 years and the love and blah, 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 and that Charles was a very jealous and possessive man, and it's been 10 years, and she hasn't been with anybody because she doesn't want anyone other than him. And then Chucky, exorcist style, freaking turns his head around, rips Damien's lip ring out, and then suffocates him. I really enjoy the suffocation because he starts with his hands and then just sits on the pillow on his face. And him and Tiff have a full-blown
shit.
Yeah, they have a full-blown like catch-up conversation. Hey, how you been? You look great. Like, honestly, I would have thought you were going to let yourself go. Like, they just have a normal conversation. Well, normal for two serial killers. And then Damien dies because, of course, he does. We get another quick cut back to Chief Kincaid, and he shows up. They're still pulled over on the side of the road in their prom gear in a torrential downpour, just drenched. So Kincaid shows up and takes Jade, like, let's go. You're coming home. Like, this isn't happening. Has some choice words with Jesse. And then both officers fuck off, as they should, and leave Jesse and David there. And David straight up is like, look, you guys should just run away together. Like, screw this. Go live your happy lives together, and basically sets in motion the rest of the movie. It's all David's fault.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah,
you
literally.
Fucker.
It's David's fault. All of this could have been avoided. We get cut back to Tiffany and Chucky, and they are more or less kind of arguing as they do. This is kind of the introduction to their tumultuous relationship, their very unhealthy love for each other. They hate each other but love each other at the same time. I think more or less Chucky hates to love Tiffany, and Tiffany hates that Chucky can't be a little bit more grounded and crazy at the same time.
It kind of reminds me of the Joker and Harley Quinn in a way.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. You really get a much deeper look into their relationship and how Tiffany specifically feels about Chucky in Seed. Just wait. Like,
Okay.
weird confession. There's a moment every time I watch Seed where I tear up. It's kind of sad. Like, just straight up. Yeah. Oh,
Okay.
man.
Color me intrigued.
And boy, howdy, wait till you get to the series. There are, season 2 really, really grasps at the heartstrings. Let's just put it that way. Yeah. Don Mancini's amazing with his writing. But Tiffany finds out that Chucky really never had any intention on marrying her. Like, at all. She found a ring.
There was a ring she found, right? Yeah.
Yeah. She found a ring and thought he had left it to propose before he got killed. But it just turns out it was a keepsake from a victim that he had killed. That was all it was. It was just a keepsake. So that pissed her off, and so she locked him in a crib. Which is still fucking hilarious.
Playtime.
Yeah. And it's fucking great. He's not pleased. He tries to sugar his way out of it, but it just does not fucking work at all. So we get another cut to the next day. Tiffany is dragging a trunk out of her garage. No, her trailer. Leave it in. My brain don't work. Welcome back, by the way, folks. We are out of practice.
Yeah. Very.
Very. That's okay. We'll get back into the swing of things. It'll be great. The intro is going to sound
I'm
very
just enjoying listening to Rob talk. It's great. This is his movie, and I'm just enjoying his ramblings about it because I was... Yeah. I like watching you talk.
I like watching you talk. I can't wait to the next episode. You guys are fucking gross. Talk about killing. What's on your
Talk
shirt?
about blood and guts.
So yeah, we cut back to Tiff. It's the next day. It's no longer raining. The sun's out. It's bright. It's shining, and we see Jesse shirtless, showing off all of his muscles, cleaning his van like it's a goddamn Camaro or something. And
yes.
Tiffany's dragging a trunk out of her trailer.
Who washes their van like that?
Jesse.
Yeah.
He's proud of that thing. Not the inside, though. He does not keep that thing well maintained.
No, he does not.
Tiff is struggling to bring a trunk out and asks Jesse for his help to put it into her trunk. And we get a little future look into a nickname that she uses by calling him Sweet Face. If you know the movies, all
Trunk.
the movies, then Sweet Face is a known pet name that she likes to use, which I thought was cool. Going, oh, well, Dawn decided to keep this one going. That's a stupid fact. Not even a fact. Just a little note. So Jesse comes over, puts a shirt on, comes over and helps her put the trunk, that we find out has Damien's body in it, into the trunk of her car and strap it down. So Jesse put trunk in trunk. That was a sentence.
Blah.
Jesse strap trunk down. Jesse go away. Tiff go inside. Tiffany has walked inside now with a gift. Assuming that between this cut, Tiffany has disposed of Damien, gone out, purchased this gift, and then come home. And opens a gift off camera. We don't get to see what it is. And then opens Chucky's makeshift crib prison and puts in a bride doll that is a good gal, by the way. It's a good gal doll.
Oh.
We don't ever get to see the packaging, unfortunately. There was something that happened legality-wise that it just didn't happen, which stinks.
I'm sure there's probably something of it out there somewhere.
There has to be. I'm sure there's got to be a fan-made something. Somebody there has made something.
At worst, it's probably fan art.
Yeah. So Chucky gets to see his bride, and he's not happy about it. Oh, the best part I completely skipped over is him using a speak and spell, and it just asks, "How do you spell woman?" And he just spells out bitch, and she's like,
Bitch.
"That's wrong." And he's like, "It shows what you know." It's fucking hilarious. Oh man. Anyway, so Tiff is now taking a bath and watching the news on a TV that's in her bathroom, and there is a news report about 2 bodies being found, a cop with the throat slit, and then the body of Damien himself, whose real name was something real dweeby. And we get a side-by-side picture of him as a goth and him as a dweeb, which is hilarious, and she just laughs at it. And then she changed the channel to Murder, She Wrote, which, fuck yeah, that shows the shit.
Murder, She Wrote.
That is not the theme song. But
Murder, She Wrote.
So, and then, guess what? Not only are we tying 2 Bride movies together by doing this, but this Bride movie ties in the fucking Bride movie. And
it does.
Because she changes the channel, Bride of Frankenstein. And we get the beautiful,
May I just say quote. the music at the beginning of this sounded very Bride-like in the first place. Like at the beginning of this movie, it all sounded very Bride-like. And even this whole scene has Bride type orchestra. It's great.
Oh yeah. Yeah, there are multiple music like references to other movies, including the opening, which the music is very it's synthy as fuck, so it's clearly a reference to Halloween. If you go back and listen to the opening music for the movie, it is John Carpenter hat tip through and through. It's just like, hey, we're making an homage to you, sir, musically. She's watching Bride of Frankenstein, and we get my favorite quote from fucking Bride of Frankenstein right out the gate. I mean, we get the she's alive with the weird hand placement. I don't quite understand it still to this day, but we cut away to Chucky breaking out of his makeshift prison and cut back to Tiff to the monster saying, "We belong dead." And it's fucking perfect timing, because then Chucky bolts into the bathroom with a knife and Tiff doesn't even fucking hesitate and just boots him across the room. And turns out the TV is on a rolling rack, so he just rolls that shit and electrocutes her in the bathtub.
What a great kill.
Yeah. Oh, it's awesome. Also, I have to say, tastefully done. I feel like if anyone other than Don Mancini had a say in this, there would have been nudity, which the movie, this one especially, does not need. Anyway, Tiff gets electrocuted. Chucky grabs the bride doll and just goes, "You know what? Fuck it. I'm stuck in this body. You want to trap me? I'm going to fucking trap you." And praise to Dembala. And we get a double jump scare, which is great. And Tiffany in the bathtub jolts up like she's still alive. And as she does it,
scares Chucky.
Yeah, scares Chucky. And the Tiffany doll is behind him. So the bride doll is in there. Tiffany and Tub fall back down. And then the doll speaks. And Tiffany is now in the bride doll. So we now have 2 living dolls, thanks to the wonderful Dembula. Not a sponsor of this podcast, unlike Gore Clown. So Tiffany's pissed and now wants a body because she is like Chucky. So Tiffany's not happy with the fact that she's now in a doll. And she's only been an adult for a short period of time. And Chucky's like, "Now you know how it feels, bitch." And so she was like, "How do we fix this? We both need human bodies. What do we do? We need to find somebody now. Let's just do it." And he's just like, "Sorry to break the news to you, but we need the Heart of Dembala, which is an amulet that I was wearing when I was killed by the cops in the first movie." And she's like, "Great. Where is it?" And he's like, "In my grave with my body in New Jersey." So let's go. Yeah. Tiffany's like, "Well, let's do this." And he's like, "How are we supposed to do this? What, are you going to work the fucking pedals and I'm going to steer? We're fucking dolls." And then she comes up with the brilliant plan to use Jesse. So she calls Jesse,
Preening slut.
asks him to transport 2 dolls to New Jersey at a mortuary, and offers him $500. He says, I want 1,000. She says, fine, I'll give you 500 up front, and then you'll get the other 500 once they're delivered. And so this is now his opportunity, Jesse's opportunity, to get Jade and get the fuck out of Dodge. So
leave this whole
Jesse
town behind.
Yep. Jesse shows up, grabs the dolls, grabs the $500, reads the note, and hits the road.
It's turned into a road trip.
Jesse
movie.
literally. Jesse gets to Jade's house, and he asks her to marry him. Like, let's fucking go. Let's get out of here. We're in love. Let's get married. The whole time they're having this moment, it's great because it's shot like a romantic movie, like the angling, the lighting, everything is a romance film. Like the directing style completely changes when we're outside the van and they're having this conversation. Even the music is different. And then it keeps cutting back to the, horror angles inside the van of Chucky just being like, ugh, this is fucking disgusting. Let's get going. I mean, the best part is him just doing the hand jerk off motion. Like, it fucking kills me every time. Jesse and Jade go inside to pack a bag for Jade so they can go. As they go inside, Chief Kincaid shows up with a bag of weed that he's trying to plant in Jesse's van that is locked because Jesse is responsible and locks his car, like everyone should. Kincaid isn't having it. Chucky and Tiff both see this transpiring, and Kincaid comes back and breaks in to Jesse's van and goes in, and the whole time Chucky grabs a knife, and Tiffany's making fun of his killing techniques and ideas and methods and being like, that's so 1989. I'm like, no. And he grabs a hammer and she's like, you got to be more creative than that, babe. People are killing way more creative now. And he was just like, well, I don't fucking know. And she looks around and sees a jar filled with nails. That's all we get to see at first. Well, Kincaid gets in and tries to find a place to hide the weed. And then Tiffany starts laughing and Kincaid goes to investigate and finds Tiffany in the front passenger seat and Chucky laying on the floor and is disgusted by both dolls. And then Chucky just pops up, or Tiff says, now, and scares Kincaid, and Chucky pops up and cuts a piece of rope or a wire or whatever, and an airbag explodes. All the nails are lined up on the dash, and Kincaid gets impaled 100% in his face with nails.
Yeah. He gets what he deserves is what he gets.
Yeah, but the best follow-up line from Chucky is he's just staring at it, and he goes, I swear I know this from somewhere, because he looks like Pinhead.
Oh, yeah, it's 100%. I was looking at him, I was like, he really looks like Pinhead, and then Chucky says that, I was like, all right, cool, got it. Understood. I forgot the beginning of the movie.
Yeah. There's so many references to that. Is him even doing mentioning, every movie requires 2 to 3 comebacks before it really gets good and stuff like that. So they hide Kincaid in the van in like a bench, and Jade and Jesse come back and go on their way. And then the movie ends. That's it, folks. All right. Thanks for joining us this week. Bye.
Nothing else happens.
Just kidding. Jesse and Jade leave and get pulled over by the deputy again. And they're outside of a grocery store / food vendor. It's hard to make out.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I've seen this movie a lot of times, and I still have no idea what the fuck is going on. It looks like it's just a bunch of teenagers hanging outside of a fucking grocery store for no reason.
It kind of looks like just the concession stand of a drive-in. Like, there should be a screen somewhere, but it's just nowhere to be seen.
Yeah, it's odd. It's an odd location. It's an odd thing. Not entirely sure. It doesn't matter though, but they get pulled over right in front. They get out. They're asked to get out of the van again. We get a really cool cut back to Chucky and Tiff just smoking a joint
Yeah.
in the van. Jade slap punches the deputy. She hits him. She does something.
Yeah, she hits him and then takes off.
It's hard to tell. Did she punch him? Did she slap him? It's very odd. Jesse just tells her to go get supplies, so she fucks off. During the whole thing, Jesse is slightly distracted, and the deputy goes into his van uninvited, with no warrant, not even asking. Yep. And as it's happening, he starts to open the bench that Kincaid is in, and Tiff kicks him in the head, and Chucky throws the bag of weed, distracting him. He finds the weed. He's like, I got this. Jesse's pissed. The deputy goes back to his car to call it in, and Chucky, he's like, I've got this one, and grabs a t-shirt and a lighter and goes over to the cop car and puts the t-shirt in the gas tank and just turns the fucking cop car into the world's largest Molotov cocktail.
Before this is one of my favorite lines. It's he's running, you could see like his little feet, and then there's just a stoner in a car right next to the concession stand, looks up, and Chucky flips him off, and he just goes, rude fucking doll.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, cool. Thanks, man.
Yeah, he's too baked. He's a bit more baked than a cake.
Yeah. Spoiler Sleepover is sponsored by Gore Clown Shop.
Do you love all things horror? Books? Movies? Podcasts? Of course you do. Well, come on down to goreclown.com.
Original artwork by an indie horror fan for indie horror fans.
Use code SLEEPOVER at checkout to save 15% on your whole purchase.
Oh, and did we mention? Gore Clown is the only place to get official Spoiler Sleepover merch.
So don't forget to use Sleepover to save 15%.
Stay indie, suckers!
Yeah, during that, when he's crawling away, Chucky drops the lighter, which helps in the long run, because he left his fucking fingerprints on there. The dolls have fingerprints. The longer they're in those bodies, the more human they become. That was explained thoroughly in the third movie. So the cop car explodes.
Gross.
The cop dies, of course. Some random tries to stop them. Fucking Jade walks out with 2 bags of groceries, drops them, and just takes off. You spent money, man. Like, I don't care what the situation is. That's food. Maybe that's just a fat kid in me saying it, but like, who knows? Like, dude, that's food. You're on the run now. You need that food. You need nourishment. So they take off, and then fucking chaos goddamn ensues. Cars are crashing into each other. People are running around like it's the goddamn end of days. It's intense. But yeah, they're
in a massive argument now.
Yeah. Yeah. So the car fucking explodes. Jade thinks Jesse did it. Jesse thinks Jade did it. Fucking Tiffany and Chucky are having the time of their life watching these two fucking fight each other. They think it's hilarious. They're like, yeah, they're just like us. It's kind of the start to the beginning of the end without the end actually ever coming to fruition, which is kind of interesting. On their drive during their argument, per usual, how we get all the news throughout this movie, they are listening to the radio, and there's, another report of bodies being found. And now they know that they are wanted for a murder, at least at this point. So they're on the run. They're fugitives at this point. And they had a game plan. No matter how they're currently feeling about each other and not trusting each other, they go to a speed chapel to get married. Anyway.
Yeah.
They get married. They give each other the most heartless kiss ever. Just one of those, I may love you, but currently all I'm doing is tolerating you kisses. During this, Chucky and Tiffany are still in the van, and we get more insight into, the background of what's going on, and Chucky starts changing stations, and he's just like, slightly offensive to me, but like, I get it for Chucky. He's changing channels and like stations and listening to the music, And he stops on a ska song and he's like, what the fuck has happened to music these days? I'm like, dude, bro, that's ska. Like, that's good music. Like, I hate to break the news to you, but it's fun shit. There's horns.
Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up.
Yeah. Everyone's strums and upstrokes only. You gotta love it.
Everyone's skanking nowadays.
Yeah. I fucking love ska. I still skank.
These kids in their checkerboard belts.
So, yeah. He skips over fucking ska, but stops on 1965 by Rob Zombie. Hey!
There you go.
So, yeah, we're back at it. And he's like, this is more like it. And he throws his devil horns up and starts kind of doll headbanging the best he can for a geriatric doll. Yeah, it's funny, too, to believe that Tiff is supposed to be as old as Charles Lee Ray is, by the way, if you really think about it, age-wise. That's the rabbit hole. You have to go down and look at how old Charles Lee Ray was when he was killed in the first movie and how old Tiffany would have been when he was killed in the first movie. Yeah, it's a little creepy if you really do the math on things. Yep.
Why don't you have a seat right there? Why don't you just have a seat right there, Charles?
Yeah. Oh, man. I think Don Mancini realized that, but too late. He does do his best to rectify that issue with the TV series the best he can. Yeah. By making it make sense. It's, if you ever watch the show, he tries to fix it. It just, yeah, it's one of those moments where until you've watched these movies 100 times and you start to put together the timeline, you're like, wait a fucking second. Like that's not right, is it? No, I'm pretty sure everything that this is highly illegal, but that's beside the point. So Chucky and Tiff are just kind of like finding level ground at this point while they're in the van, which I think is great for both of them. Instead of arguing all the time, Chucky's softening up a touch and seeing this, this couple who's going through hell that they're causing for this couple, and they still are going ahead and tying the knot. Chucky then follows up with this wonderful line of, life is full of surprises, to which Kincaid pops out of the fucking bench in the back of the van, still alive, screaming, and they both just look shocked. They're like, holy shit, this guy's still alive. He rolls out of it. I love this shot so much. Every time it happens, God damn it, do I love this shot. He falls out and lands on his face, pushing the nails further into his face. God damn, that's an amazing shot. I love it. Fucking love it. And then Chucky just goes, sometimes the classics never die, and pulls out a knife and just jumps on his back and stabs him to death. Because, hey man, sometimes the classics never die.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Seriously though. So yeah, Kincaid is officially actually dead this time. They put him back in.
Take that, dead meat kill count.
Yeah. So now we find out that Jesse and Jade have gotten a love motel. They're not happy with each other, even though they're freshly married. And a strange, scantily clad woman just waltzes into their room and is playing, I believe drunk, supposed to be, saying that she's freshly married as well. Then her husband waltzes into the room as well, also scantily clad. And Tiffany witnesses this woman steal Jesse's wallet. And they, try to propose a four-way, a partner swap, and get promptly kicked out of the room, to which we get an amazing cut over to them in their love motel, on their waterbed, by the way. They both have waterbeds. And
as you do,
they are attempting to get it busy. And there is a mirror on the ceiling, as there should be in all love motels. If you can't watch the action, what's the point?
Where'd you get that weird freckle on your butt? Oh, God.
It's not a freckle. I don't know how to wipe.
How'd you find this? Well, we were in a love motel. Shut up.
Yeah. Stroke game strong. So the wife, the wife is
Nasty.
looking up at the mirror and then sees Tiffany standing there with a wine bottle in her hand. And then the husband turns and looks up and sees the same thing. And Tiffany just yeets the bottle at the mirror and breaks it, and glass impales all of them. And we get this really cool, bloody, broken waterbed flood. And
isn't there also like sparks and shit? And
Yeah.
like then the water electrocutes them. It's a mishmash of different ways to kill two people in one go, and it's awesome.
Sure is. Well, little did she know, Chucky had followed her into the room and witnessed the whole thing happen, and it got him excited. So he told Tiff that he loved her, and then they start, talking dirty. Oh, Jason Michael's
What's
excited.
he say? It's feeling like Pinocchio.
Yeah, they made some references to things being wet, and finding out that they are Tiffany finding out that she is anatomically correct, and also finding out that so is Chucky. And they said, yeah, I'm starting to feel like Pinocchio down here. To which we get a doll sex scene. Now,
tastefully done.
Are you ready for this? There are 3 versions of this scene.
Christ.
So depending on
why
A, where you're streaming, A, where you're streaming it, B, and C, which versions you own. So, for example, the DVD versions that we own have the second version of it.
Okay.
There is a special
Did
feature.
you bring a rubber? I am a rubber.
Yeah, well, so, now I'm curious.
Okay.
Maybe, not to shit on Walmart, but you never know. I'm curious now which version you have. So, I'll just break it down. I was too lazy today and didn't want to pull out a DVD and insert it into a fucking DVD player. So I was like, well, I know Bride of Chucky's on Netflix. Fuck Netflix, though, because the Netflix version is not the theatrical version. It is a slightly edited version. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So the sequence of events in the Netflix version, if you watch it, is you see Tiffany get from the back, Chucky undresses her a little bit, and then you get to see some weird puppet tongue kissing, and then just shadow stuff on the wall.
Yeah.
So that version also exists on DVDs. There is another DVD version and Blu-ray version where you get to see a little bit more. To be exact, a Tiffany moving up and down with a shot on her face. Chucky also thrusting from behind. And then we get the shadow shot, which the shadow shot's great. Now there is the special features version where you get to see, there's no other way to put this other than doll nipples. Yes. It was considered highly distasteful and inappropriate, so it was never released. Which is hilarious because if you go quite a few years prior and you watch the amazingly and horribly underrated movie Howard the Duck, you get to see duck nipples. So I don't know. Howard the Duck was also rated PG, so I don't know. The fucking world is an enigma.
I mean, so was Spaceballs. Spaceballs was PG and it got away with a lot.
Yeah. I mean, at the time that those movies came out, PG-13 didn't exist yet. So there was, things were up for debate constantly and whatever. So
parental guidance. Hey, parents, just so you know, this is on you.
Yeah. So, I mean, the main point of this is they got it on and Tiffany stops Chucky and is like, hey, do you have a rubber? And he says, Tiff, look at me. I'm made of rubber. And she laughs and then goes, wait, I thought you were made of plastic. And he goes, Tiff, kiss me. So they do it. The doll nasty.
They literally do it. How'd your day go, sweetie? Well, I watched dolls have sex. Other than that.
So we cut back to the Love Motel. Both Jesse and Jade are pretending to sleep with their backs to each other. Jesse gets out of bed. Jade promptly grabs the phone and calls David and confesses that she believes that Jesse is the one doing the killings. David says, call the cops. Well, then David gets a call, and we get a cut to outside of Jesse at a payphone. Those were a thing back then. They don't really exist anymore.
Yeah.
Calling David, letting him know that he believes Jade is the one doing the killings. David then, again, says, call the cops, which neither of them do. Because, of course, they wouldn't. Why would they?
Because they're married and they're in love.
Right. So, next day, we get a housekeeper walking into a very dark room. Did you see who the housekeeper was? I see your reaction.
Oh, I saw who the housekeeper was. I 100% did. The housekeeper, let me read their name once I make sure I'm on the right side here. I hope I pronounce it right. Kathy Najimy, who is the third witch who's not Sarah Jessica Parker or Bette Midler from Hocus Pocus.
Yep.
The one who barks is basically the Curly of the group.
Yes. Yep. Great little pop up in there for the insiders. It's great, but she is the one who finds the couple, and we finally get to see the aftermath of them just filled with giant shards of fucking mirror. And she does the best fucking scream. I love her scream. Her scream is awesome.
It's a really good scream.
Yep. And at that point in time, of course, these two moronic teenagers who are on the run because of murders they have not committed decide to go investigate. All right, Scooby-Doo and the dumbass gang. No, don't fucking do that. But they do.
Really?
Yeah. Fucking dumbasses. But they see it and they're like, well, that's two more. Let's get the fuck out of here. So they do.
Like, let's skedaddle, Scoob.
Yeah. Zoinks! There's two more dead bodies. That was like a mixture between Shaggy and fucking Marky Mark.
Shaggy Wahlberg.
Shaggy Wahlberg. Like, zoinks, dude. Do you see? It's wicked cool. Look at me. Zoinks.
Like, whoa.
Like, whoa. Sorry. My
Anyway.
my Mark Wahlberg impression is just him being way overexcited about everything all the time. It's super Boston. It's
hey, look at this guy hanging out over here, playing with a teddy bear.
I was
Might
doing
make a movie
this,
about it called Ted.
I forget what the fuck I was doing it for, but I think it was last week I was doing a Mark Wahlberg impression for my fiance about something that Mark Wahlberg wasn't in, and I was just like if Mark Wahlberg was in this. And she was just like, at first looked annoyed and then started laughing after a while because I wouldn't stop until I got a reaction other than annoyance. So, yeah, look at me, guy.
That's
I'm fucking
right
awesome.
there.
Do you see me over here? I'm pulling the fucking sword out of the goddamn stone. Where's King Arthur at? Wow, this is fucking great. I'm Marky Mark. Do you see this shit? I'm Mark Wahlberg. Wow. Yeah, there you go. That's for everyone out there.
Where's King Arthur at?
Oh, man, I got this fucking sword. This is wicked cool, kid. All right. Now that I got the sword...
He's not here. I got to do it. Somebody's got to do it. Fucking hell.
Oh, fucking
We're in New
Jesus
England.
Christ.
We have Dunkins. Unless you're a little more north than Massachusetts, in which case you get Aroma Joe's like a real person and not a sheep.
Dunkin' Donuts is fucking gross either way. I found out the one Dunkin' Donuts that opened in San Antonio closed because people were like, wow, this is brown water. And I was like, yeah, gross. I make my own coffee. Gross.
Wow. What the hell happened to my coffee? It's fucking brown water.
What is
a kid? All right, Jesus Christ.
I told you I wanted 26. What's going on? I need 20 sugars and 6 creams. This isn't sweet enough. I can still feel my teeth.
Fucking hell. That is the most anybody's talked about Mark Wahlberg in a very long time. I don't know the last thing he was in.
He's in something new. I saw the trailer for not too long ago, and I think that's what started my fucking tangent. It was just like, oh, look, Mark Wahlberg's in another thing being Mark Wahlberg. Good for him. He's fucking Mark Wahlberg. Oh, man. That was like Ryan Reynolds. Doesn't act. He just shows up and he's fucking Ryan Reynolds.
Pretty much.
Anywho, back to killer dolls who like to fuck each other.
Jesus.
Jade and Jesse are back again on the run, starting to piece things together. They admit to each other that they think the other is the killer. But they then find out, because David has informed them, Kincaid's also missing. So all of these killings happened right after or around the time that Kincaid has gone missing. So they're like, maybe it's Chief Kincaid. He is probably the killer, and now he's on the run because we've run away, and he's following us and killing everyone and trying to frame us. Blah, 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 blah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, David is there. David shows up, finds where they are, and jumps into the van and is like, look, you guys have to just get along, find a way to get away, and hide. As they're doing that, David keeps mentioning an awful smell in the van, to which he finds the bench. He opens said bench, and there is Kincaid stabbed brutally to death with a nail sticking out of his face. And then David just makes a gun materialize out of thin air into his hand. And
I think it was on Kincaid. I'm pretty sure it was on Kincaid.
I mean, that makes the most sense, except for the fact that we don't see it. He just has a fucking gun. It just happens. Bad either editing choice or whatever. But anywho, that's when Jesse and Jade both see, the chief dead as well. And David gets out of the van and flags down a cop that's driving by. As this is happening, Chucky and Tiff are like, enough is enough. And also materialize 2 guns, 1 each, and, show them that they're sentient living dolls. And at that point, there's nothing else to do. David freaks out, takes a step onto the highway, and quite literally gets exploded by a fucking Mack truck.
Wham!
Yeah.
And fuck.
If you watch it real close, I mean, there are limbs flying. It is brutal. There is nothing left of David. He was blown to a bajillion pieces. Well,
you get hit by an 18-wheeler doing 85.
Yeah, seriously.
See if you don't pop into a bunch of limbs.
The cop does turn around, catches up to them. Chucky and Tiff tell them they got to fucking drive. So they start driving, and then they shoot the fucking cop in the car to get him to stop. Cop stop.
There's a highway shootout.
Yep.
What the fuck?
It's awesome. Chucky and Tiffany then fill in Jade and Jesse on everything that's transpired, their whole lives, everything, whatever. And they are then again, as the only thing that has dragged this plot along, listening to the radio to find out the news and see what's happening, finding out that there have been 3 sets of fingertips found at all of the crime scenes. Those have been Jesse's, Jade's, and the fingerprints of the dead serial killer, Charles Lee Ray. So they are going to have the grave of Charles Lee Ray exhumed that night. And it's at that moment that Chucky's like, we got to get the fuck over there because the amulet's there, and I need the amulet before they bring that thing somewhere where I can't get to it. So they done-diddly take off. They also realize there's an ABB out on the van, so they need to find something else. So they steal an RV. We don't see it happen, unfortunately, because they kill an elderly couple.
Yeah. They fall out, and Tiffany just goes, oh,
excuse me, as she's trying to grab something out of the cupboard where their bodies are. And it looks like it was a rather quick kill. They each have 1 gunshot wound to the head. So they didn't take their time with it. They just needed the fucking RV and needed to keep moving. But Tiff has so graciously, again, made Swedish meatballs for Charles, Chucky, and also made him some cookies. And Chucky is in the passenger seat of this RV while Jesse's driving, while Jade is tied up in the back, and Tiffany is just being Betty Homemaker, and Jesse finds his opportunity to try to pit them against each other again. And he's like, isn't it grand to have, a woman who cooks for you? And Jesse's like, she's not much of a housekeeper though, is she? And he sees the mess, and Chucky just chuckies it up and goes, would it kill you to wash a dish or 2? And a fight ensues. They start arguing. Tiff's throwing plates, and Jade sees her opportunity. The oven's still open, so she kicks Tiff into the oven, closes it, and Jesse fucking judo chops goddamn Chucky out the window. Chucky tries to shoot him, And for some reason, Jesse overcorrects in the wrong direction and drives the fucking RV off the side of the road. You're an idiot, dumbass.
Way to go.
But yeah, Tiff gets cooked real good. She's nice and crispy. There's gas leaking all over the inside of the RV. Jade's trying to get free. She gets out. So does Tiff. And Chucky grabs Jade and holds her hostage. And Tiff is laying on the ground, and Jesse has a gun and is about to shoot her, and then realizes that Chucky has Jade at gunpoint, and decides, oh, if he's got a hostage, he's holding my lady hostage, I'm going to hold his lady hostage. And so they run, end up at the graveyard. They see the gravedigger digging up the body and kill him. And they do a whole...
He's just someone doing his job.
Yeah. So Chucky makes Jade crawl down there and open the coffin, to which we see Charles Lee Ray's skeleton and the heart of Dumbledore. The amulet is there. So he's like, grab it. And so she grabs it and just yanks it and breaks Charles Lee Ray's neck. And he's like, you broke my neck, you bitch. And it's hilarious. Jesse shows up with Tiff, and they swap wives, if you will. And Jade runs to Jesse's arms, and they hug. And then Tiff runs to Chucky, and he moves away, and she falls on the ground because she's all burnt. And he's like, ugh. And then Chucky throws a knife at Jade's back, and Jesse realizes it and turns and takes the knife to his back, and then stupidly says, take it out. No, you don't take it out. You leave it in. Somebody
didn't do first aid.
No. Not at all. He lives in a trailer. I don't know what that means. I'm sure there's plenty EMTs that live in trailers. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to stereotype. I'm as bad as Kincaid.
You son of a bitch.
They switch wives, and at this point, they're like, Chucky is still gung-ho on getting the body switched out, but as things are unfolding, Tiff just is like, kiss me one more time. Chucky got his knife back and decides to stab Tiffany. And it's fucked up, but I love the line where he just is like, he says, get off my knife, and pushes her off. And then Tiff gets the knife and stabs Chucky. All of this happens real quick. So we are under the assumption that Tiffany is dead. Jade takes a shovel and knocks Chucky into the open grave. And as she grabs the gun to shoot Chucky, a random detective, the detective we've seen on the news a whole whopping once in the movie, shows up alone. Nonetheless, you're hunting serial killers. You don't do that fucking alone. And tells her to drop the gun, which she does. And then he walks up and sees a sentient living doll in the grave and just goes, holy shit. And then Jade just grabs the gun out of his hand and fucking unloads into Chucky. The detective, for some reason, must have the power of the president of the world. Is just like, yep, clearly you guys didn't do it. So hold on. And just gets over the radio. He's like, Jesse and Jade didn't do it. They're innocent. That's not how police work works, but
what are you talking about? Yeah,
they just saunter off into the sun.
Wow.
So then the detective sees the burnt doll of Tiffany and walks over to it very cautiously, I must say, and pokes it one too many times. And then there's that moment of, he's like, oh, okay, it's just a burnt doll. And then Tiffany springs to life screaming bloody murder, and blood.
It's awesome.
Yeah. Blood spurts rather violently from betwixt her legs. And then a little demon spawn doll baby crawls out of her vagina, which we don't see, thank God. And the last thing we see is the baby lunge at the detective's face. And that...
It's got some haggard-looking teeth.
Yeah, that, ladies, gents, and our non-binary friends, is Bride of Chucky from 1998. And we only have 3 more in the Child's Play movies to cover.
Right?
So...
Good God. What a weird movie this was.
You think this one's weird? Wait till you watch Seed.
Well, shit. I mean, I know some of the stuff that happens, but
yeah,
man.
It's great. On a scale of 1 to 10 doll sex scenes, how many look at me, I'm made of rubbers would you give this?
Honestly, I don't think this was my favorite. There was definitely some moments where it was like, meh, okay, all right. You could tell there was a lot of characters that were just there for fodder and just lined up as kills, which I mean, hey, I'm okay with that. I didn't feel like any sort of connection to Jesse and Jade like I did with Andy, or with Kyle or anybody like that. So, I will say again, my favorite Chucky look. I would probably give it a 6, which I think is what I gave the first one. Maybe it's, I mean, it's good, but it's not my entire Child's Play cup of tea so far.
And you're not alone. A lot of people are really split. I don't think I've ever met anyone that's just like in the middle on Bride. They either hate it or they love it. At least for me, being a huge fan and absolutely loving the entire series, I can't just go over and be like, I'm going to watch Seed. Can't. You got to get to the lead up to the baby being born, which if you know the name, then you know the name. If you know the new name, then you've watched the show. Good job.
Oh, okay.
Don't spoil it for yourself.
What about, well then in that case, what about you? What is your, look at me, I'm made of rubbers of this movie?
So very quick, without beating around the bush, it's an 8. It's an 8 for me because the storyline itself in this particular movie is very rushed. It feels rushed. It feels like let's just get to the finish. The entire movie, there's no build of suspense for much of anything, aside from the airbag nail kill. Like that's the biggest suspense of like, okay, what is going to happen? What did Tiffany decide to do with these nails? What is she teaching Chucky now? Other than that, it is the entire movie is nothing but a setup for Seed, which was already written. And that was the point and purpose of Bride. So he had written, Don Mancini had an idea of what if Chucky had a child. But how do I get to that point? How do I get there? I need to fill this somehow to make it work, to make it make sense. And arguably, it's not his strongest script. On the other hand, bold statement, I do think his 3 strongest scripts that he's written in the Child's Play universe are Seed, Curse, and Cult. And once you get to Curse and Cult, it'll make a lot more sense. You're going to be like, holy shit. Like his writing game changed heavily. And he learned how to build suspense and horror a lot better. I mean, there's a lot of suspense and horror in Child's Play 2. I like the build in that one. Like in 3, the ending is fucking rushed as well. Like the ending in this one's super fucking rushed as well. But this whole movie feels rushed. Aside from that, I'm only giving it, taking 2 points off because of that. The rest of it is fucking goddamn Chucky. Of course, I'm going to give it a fucking higher rating. But yeah, so 8. Look at me, I'm made of rubbers. All right, so we also have to not forget our bloody legend of the week. And I'm taking the reins on this one. I know, I feel like I've said Don Mancini at least twice so far. But this one is more of a somber one. I'm going to give the bloody legend to John Ritter. John Ritter died far, far too fucking soon. And he was young for his death, but not a young man. But he really is just a character actor through and through. Anything he's ever been in. My favorite role ever is Bad Santa. If you have not seen Bad Santa, you are doing yourself a disjustice by not watching that filthy, filthy Christmas movie and watching John Ritter's hilarious reactions to everything happening. But bloody legend of the week, John Ritter. Rest easy. It's been a very long time since you've been gone, but you're not forgotten and you're still loved. Everything that you've done in the past was just amazing. That's the bloody legend of the week.
Nice. Well, now that we've done that does bring us to the end of our episode. Before we tell you what's up next week, Rob, is there anyone that you would like to thank for this week's episode?
Yes, absolutely. I would like to thank our brand new and amazing fucking sponsor over at Gore Clown. So,
yeah, dude, Seamus Belial.
You're an amazing human being. Thank you so much for not only being our sponsor, creating the amazing art that you see on the t-shirt that we have over there right now. There are more designs to come.
Seamus makes great designs, dude.
Go over to goreclown.com. You're going to see the Gore shop. There's everything there. It is 100% indie horror art made by an indie horror fucking fan.
Seamus is awesome.
And do not forget at checkout to use code SLEEPOVER and you'll save fucking 15% on your whole purchase.
Thank you very much, Seamus Belial.
Thank you, Clown. You guys rock. Love it. Other than that, I need to thank you. Thank you for just being awesome and kicking ass, coming back from the insanity that was your summer, everything you've done all summer, the emotional fucking shit you're going through with coming down from that high you were on all summer. And you just came back with a huge smile on. I'm happy to see you. It's great. I've missed you. And as always, I have to thank my wonderful, beautiful rock star of a fiance who has just been great dealing with listening to me talk movie because I have had no one else to fucking talk to since we've been on our season break. So yeah, thank you all. And I'm going to do a final kind of somber send off. Thank you to Vegan Curious. Anna, you have been great. You are our first sponsor. We really appreciate everything that you've done, all of the delicious snacks you've sent us. Viewers, listeners, all of you out there may still get a little glimpse at some Vegan Curious stuff. Our parting is not anything malicious. It's just not beneficial to either side. Vegan Curious is not taking online orders anymore. So us sending you there would just be showing you what farmers markets she's at. So we do highly suggest still, if you're in the New England area, go to Vegan Curious. You can find her on Instagram, Facebook. Find there. She posts her schedule for every month of everywhere that she's going to be. Go find her. Go try her stuff. It's not only affordable, the serving sizes are obnoxiously huge. So if you manage to sit down and eat one brownie in one sitting, good God, they're huge. But thank you, Anna, for being so supportive. And her amazing partner, Silas, thank you. He's a listener. He's great. He's supporting her as well. You'll see him at the markets that she goes to. So, Anna, we here fucking love you. Silas, you're a rock star. You might hear from Silas shortly, too, at some point. He is going to be a guest. Ooh. That is a look into the future of him jumping on for a movie that he actually really enjoys. So, yeah, that is my long-winded first episode back. Thank yous to the people that really have been there for not just me, but for us. So, Jason Michael, who do you have to thank?
Rob, as per the usual, I would like to thank you. While I've been away and very busy for a couple months off in the woods, you have been on top of it, like doing your own streams, posting, keeping involved with the community, and just keeping everybody satiated, or whatever the word is, keeping everyone entertained while we are on a little hiatus. So you keeping this ship alive while one of us is extremely busy is fantastic. So I've been very, very thoroughly looking forward to getting back and talking with you about horror movies. Like every horror movie I took time to watch when it was late at night, I would just go, I should be taking notes right now. Oh, I don't have to. I should still be taking notes. So thank you very much for that. We had a few different people be more involved in the socials. There's a few people. There's Mystic Magpie, who's very vocal on responding to some of the stories as well as our ever popular Gokzara, or Mr. Cyrene, as he previously was known as, just talking about all sorts of shop and different things. So thank you, all you suckers out there, especially those couple few right there. You are awesome. And yeah, last but not least, definitely sad, but now my better half is back in England, and she is still very supportive of all the strange side projects I have, whether it be the podcast, whether it be the stream, whether it be just the massive amount of drums that I was playing over the summer. Either way, she is very supportive of everything, so thanking her as well. That's who I got. That'll bring us to the end of this episode. Before we leave for this episode, we have to talk about next week. Rob, we're going back in time once again to talk about the 7th installment in my big top 3 lineup. We're talking about the 7th Universal monster movie. We are talking about 1932's The Mummy. Now, we're not going to say anything else, but based on what you just heard us do, yeah. So tune in next week as we talk about 1932's Dracula Mummy. With that being said, thank you very much, everybody, for listening once again. It's great to be back. Rob, great to see you again.
Great to see you.
We look forward to hearing more from all of you next week. So until then,
sleep tight, suckers.
Tight suckers. That's a rude fucking doll. Spoiler Sleepover is sponsored by Gore Clown Shop.
Do you love all things horror? Books? Movies? Podcasts? Of course you do. Well, come on down to goreclown.com.
Original artwork by an indie horror fan for indie horror fans.
Use code SLEEPOVER at checkout to save 15% on your whole purchase.
Oh, and did we mention? Gore Clown is the only place to get official Spoiler Sleepover merch.
So don't forget to use Sleepover to save 15%.
Stay indie, suckers!